Welcome. It's nice to have you here. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will.
You're listening to the Jam Session Podcast.
I was told that I could listen to the radio at a reasonable volume.
With Cowboys insider...
What's your name?
Jacques Taylor.
That's my name.
Radio personality and craft beer expert, Matt McLaren.
He's a very strange young man.
He's an idiot. Comes from upbringing.
And now, the Jam Session Podcast.
It is indeed Jam Session. Subscribe, rate, and review, and hang out with us for a while. Right here on Jam Session. It's that moment we've all been waiting for. It has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, the radio, TV, and now podcast star, the sexy Jacques Taylor.
What up, dog?
I would be the non-sexy one, Matt McLaren. And this is Jam Session, the podcast version 12, asking simply that you prepare to be dazzled.
If not entertained.
As unfortunately, I don't think any of us were on Sunday afternoon watching.
No.
I mean, I guess maybe if you're a football team fan, then you were super pumped that you got your second win. But yeah, the Cowboys got their ass kicked, did not look good whatsoever. And we've got a lot to discuss about that. But before we get rolling, a reminder, we would like to have your guys' support. Several of you are signing up to support the podcast. We appreciate that. And we ask all of you listening to support our sponsors because they're helping us out. And our latest one, of course, is Edward Jones financial advisor, Lauren Laddick. Don't let the concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Lauren can help. She'll work with you to understand the impact of these events and how to be positioned for the long term. Edward Jones provides the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing, which is something obviously I know nothing about. So that's why I need somebody like Lauren to help me. You know, she can help you with your 401k rollover, stocks and bonds, planning for retirement, all those types of things. That's what Lauren is the expert at. So let her help you. She's a big supporter of what we do here at Jam Session. So if you have questions, she'll work with you to find financial planning answers. Give her a call, 972-563-1417. That's 972-563-1417. But we're going to start you off here, as we do each and every week on this episode in the midweek, with the 4 plays that changed the outcome of the Cowboys game that perhaps you forgot about at the time. You thought, okay, 2nd and 5, so what, they did this. Well, let's get rolling here on this thing, because our first play for you on the 4 plays is a 2nd and 5.
Imagine that.
We're in the first quarter. There's 5 minutes and 4 seconds left. Washington has the ball at the Dallas 45, and this is what happens.
Allen steps up, floating one for Logan Thomas, and the tight end hangs on. First down to the 20.
Well, you got Logan Thomas running free. You know you've got to do that, but to be able to get the throw, you got to have some help. Good job in pass protection by Peyton Barber on Xavier Woods. Kyle Allen does a nice job stepping up because he's got Logan Thomas uncovered down the right sideline.
21-yard gain for a guy they feel like has a chance to turn into one of the top tight ends in the league.
Yeah, and that was an interesting one because, as they mentioned, there was a blitz.
Right.
Xavier Woods was blitzing, and he was picked up by the running back, Peyton Barber.
Right.
It looked to me like Leighton was supposed to go with the tight end, and he kind of stayed where he was, and then Donovan Wilson was on the far hash, and Donovan Wilson saw him, but by the time Donovan Wilson got all the way across the field, I mean, the dude is wide open.
You know, I'm not disputing anything you say. I don't know whether it's true or whether it's not true. I do know this, that you should not be a 6'5", 260-pound tight end running free with no one around you.
Right.
And nobody covered him off the snap. I mean, it's the damnedest thing I ever saw. I looked at the replay and like, oh, my God. So I don't know. This much I do know, man. It was a busted coverage, and the Cowboys do that better than most folks. I mean,
really
they must lead the league in busted coverages and missed assignments. And,
right.
You know, it's one thing when you're getting overpowered. Some of that's just physical. You're bigger than me. You're better than me. Okay, you won that man-to-man battle. But, dude, when you just turn folks loose because you don't know, somebody made a mental bust, somebody thought it was this and it was really that, it's just... They do it all the time, man. Yeah,
it's one of those weird plays, and another great example, as you say, of those Cowboys busted coverages. So that'll take us to our next play here in 4 plays that change the outcome of the game. And we're going to stay. I'm going to tell you this. All these 4 plays are in the first half because the second half, I mean, the game was over.
Right.
And so the second play is also in the first quarter. This is an interesting one because it's a 3rd and 4 for the Dallas Cowboys at the Washington 28. There's 2 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first quarter. This is the drive that started in Washington territory coming off the Tony Pollard return. So you're thinking, okay, this is great. You've got whatever it is, 34 yards to score.
Right. It's 9-0. It's the second possession all year that starts on the opponent's side of the 50. Let's get it.
So you're hoping that maybe they can get something going here, and then this is what happens on 3rd and 4.
On 3rd and 4, they swing it to CeeDee Lamb. Needs some blocks in front, trying to turn the corner, but can't. He gets bumped out of bounds by Jimmy Moreland. And Dallas looking at 4th and short. So the field goal team comes out unable to take full advantage of this excellent field position.
And I just think you're trying to come up with different ways to get the ball out quickly, and here's one of the options that you have, and it just doesn't work on the outside. Noah Brown not able to get the block. Really nice job by Jimmy Moreland fighting through that.
Yeah, that's one where, man, and when you watch that, I get what they were trying to do. Unfortunately, Noah Brown got absolutely driven back and lost leverage on the guy, and he closed off the sideline where CD was trying to come around. There was nowhere for him to go right there.
See, now here's the problem with that. I didn't mind. Well, let me put it like this. When I saw the play, I'm watching the play develop, and I go, God, they're going to throw this to CD because he took such a wide loop coming through on a ghost motion that it was clear that he was going to get the ball to me. There was no deception on that tip.
Yeah.
But here's what's wrong with the Cowboys, man. Noah Brown is their best blocking wide receiver. So you go, okay. Now, I'm serious. Like, you go, okay, we're going to set up this play where our best blocking wide receivers on their corner. He should be able to make that block. We just need like 3 yards or something.
Right.
CD's good running with the ball. He'll cut it up. Boom, we got a first down. Kellen, talking to himself, says, Kellen, you think that's a good play call? Kellen goes, yeah, bro, I like that one. And then you run it, you go, well, damn, I thought Noah could get the block.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, I don't think it's a lack of effort, but we've seen a lot of receivers, and we've seen them all. CeeDee Lamb is a willing blocker, but he's missed some blocks. Michael Gallup's a willing blocker, but he's missed some blocks. Now, Noah missed that one yesterday. And they're all on the same types of plays where if you get the corner, the wide receiver catches it, he cuts up for like 10.
Yeah.
But if you don't, it's no gain or it's a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, it's this.
And it's that. And they've been getting a lot of those, man, because their guys can't make the one block.
Yeah, and that one, of course, like we said, I mean, you've got great field position. We've been waiting all season to see this. And then it ends up with nothingness and you're screwed.
Have you got a jam session koozie over there?
No. This is those extra labels, the beer can labels.
You made some, because I was about to get jealous.
No. Dom gave these to me when we went to the brewery. They're just a bunch. I'll give you some if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they're just like stickers.
Oh, all right.
So, they were using these on the cans, but instead.
I'm sorry, but this is a podcast, so you get. I mean, I was about to get jealous. I'm like, why you got something I ain't got?
No, yeah, I'll give you some of those. I've got a bunch of them. So,
okay.
Yes. And again, here we are. It's the 4 plays after the Cowboys game that we're going through that really kind of jumped out to us, like, what the hell is going on? And really, these are great examples of why this team is such a horrible team. They really are, because next up we have this one. They're in the second quarter. They trail 15-3 at this point. It's 3rd and 9 for the Cowboys on their own 36. 8 minutes left in the half. Maybe they can get a conversion. Maybe they can get down the field. I'm kidding. Here's what happened.
Bringing pressure. Dalton off his spot and down. And guess who? Cole Holcomb from his linebacker spot gets there.
Yeah, he's going to come on. Ezekiel Elliott's got to find him a little bit quicker. He couldn't tell exactly what was going to happen with the offensive line up front. He's waiting to adjust to what their blocking is, and then he catches Cole Holcomb square coming in full speed.
So Holcomb the sack. Punt team comes out.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things. Again, like we talk about Noah Brown and how good of a blocking receiver he is. Zeke's a really good blitz pickup guy as your running back. And, man, that dude went right over him like he's not even there and just nails Dalton and wraps up his feet.
That's the whole thing about being a good blocker. And that's what DJ Darryl Johnson is pointing out. When you recognize where the blitz is coming from, Zeke moves in position, you get your feet square, you deliver the blow. He recognized it late. He didn't get his feet square, and so he was the blowee. I mean, he got blowed up right there, man. And
the blowee.
it's not you can count the handful of times you've seen Zeke get blown up. Now, listen to it. That doesn't mean you always make the perfect block.
No.
But him getting run over like that happens very rarely.
Yeah, and that's why that one really stood out to me, because when you see that and then listening to DJ's commentary on that, one of those things with an offensive line that there's no gel there. There's no, I know what these guys are going to do. He waits that split second, and as we know in football, man, if you're a split second late, you see exactly what happens.
Dude,
so instead of maybe a conversion, keeping a drive alive on 3rd and 9, it's an 8-yard loss. You're punting from deep inside your own territory.
Dude, I don't know if they'll ever win again.
Maybe not this season. I wouldn't be surprised. And that leads us to this 4th and final play here. And this again is in the second quarter. This is on that next drive for Washington. They're up 15-3. It's 3rd and 5. Looks like, okay, great, an incomplete pass. You got off the field, but not so fast. A really weird one here.
Cowboys bringing 6 off his back foot. He lofts it incomplete. And a flag flies from the near side of the field.
Kyle Allen was pointing right away. You can see him right going over to speak to the official after the play.
Holding. Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Pretty much just tackles J.D. McKissick. And is going to draw the flag and extend the drive.
I thought he handed the ball off.
I mean, they're laughing at Leighton. But he must have thought he had the ball, because he literally tackles the dude who's running around.
It's a hell of a fake by Kyle Allen.
I mean, I guess. And this one's weird to me because, unfortunately, it kept the drive alive, and it was so obvious right away. And again, it's just one of those things that we've talked about with this team over and over again. Bad teams do things like that.
There you go.
And keep the drive alive for the opposition instead of getting them off the field and getting the ball, because the game's still manageable at 15-3.
Right.
But, of course, they keep the drive alive. They'd go down the field, score, and the game's over.
Hey, man, I've been saying it for weeks, man. I think I really started saying it in week 3 that we may have to. I think in week 3 it was, this looks like a bad team because they do the things that bad teams do. I don't think it is a bad team, but it's playing like one. And then sports being fluid, we found out that no, lo and behold, they are a bad team, and because they consistently do all the things that bad teams do. At a certain point, it ceases to become a coincidence, and it becomes that's who and what you are.
Yeah, and another thing that I thought was interesting on that, and it was true, because I checked when I was listening to the play, and they go, Cowboys bring 6. I went back and watched it a couple times, like, man, they did blitz 6, and not a single dude got anywhere near Kyle Allen on 6.
It's pathetic, man.
6. Like, more than half the dudes on the field went out to the quarterback, and not one of them got close to getting pressure on him. He just casually stepped up in the pocket and made him
uncomfortable, or very rarely made him uncomfortable, man. And that's the way to play losing football, because quarterbacks in the NFL, man, you give them time, normally they pick you apart.
And there you have it. Those are the 4 plays that might not have stood out at the time, but certainly lent a hand in the Cowboys getting embarrassed in Washington on Sunday afternoon. So, as always, you heard me mention at the beginning of this show here, thanking our sponsors, and more of you guys are signing up to help us out, and that's awesome. And, of course, one that we've talked about a few times already, and I keep getting comments about it on social media. I'm telling you, man, these wings at Kroger are legit, and we're happy to have them so that we can tell you about them. They're available at Kroger stores all across North Texas. 2 flavors of wings. I think the mango habanero is incredible. The buffalo blue cheese is also really good. Those are the flavors. You walk into Kroger, you go back to the meat counter, you tell the dude, hey, I want like 2 or 3 pounds of those wings right there in the window. They're going to weigh them, wrap them up for you. You can take them home, throw them on the grill. They're fantastic. They're not breaded like a lot of other ones. You get the meat, you get the flavor. That's what you get out of here, man. The mango habanero, I am telling you, I've had them 2 weekends in a row. They're awesome. So check them out. Find them in Kroger in the section where you get all your meats cut up, and they will take care of that for you.
I like them because they're naked.
You like naked? You like it when there's nothing on them? No bread?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? It is time, as we do from time to time here on the show, to take our trip around the block. And local guys talking about local things. We like to do that. There's a lot of fast food places locally. I think that we're all aware of this.
Yeah.
But have you seen some of the new menu items that these fast food places are putting out? I shouldn't laugh because I get it.
Why are you laughing?
Because the first one, I just think it's Nobody is legit going here to eat this as something where they're like, oh, yeah, I ordered a dozen of these and they were delicious. You're doing it as a bit with your friends. And that is Dunkin'.
Okay.
Who officially dropped the donuts a couple of years ago.
Did they?
Yeah, I had to look it up. And yeah, it's Dunkin' now.
Oh, really?
Well, Dunkin' has released its first ever spicy donut. It's it's called the Ghost Pepper Donut.
Really?
I swear, dude. It's like the actual.
Okay, I'm going to buy you one.
Okay, I'll try it. The donut part of it is like a normal donut. It's iced with strawberry icing that's mixed with a blend of cayenne and ghost pepper.
That doesn't sound too bad if you like spicy.
I guess, but here's the thing. When do you eat donuts?
Eat them in the morning.
Who the hell wants to eat ghost pepper at like 8 o'clock in the morning with your coffee?
Well, I mean, the same people to me that drink a spicy Bloody Mary early in the morning. How about that?
Okay, well, yeah, but I mean, that's, you eat you drink spicy Bloody Mary because you need a little hair of the dog, and the tomato juice mixes, it's just a little bit of vodka. I spice the crap out of my Bloody Marys.
What the hell is hair of the dog?
Like when you're hungover in the morning and you wake up. I don't know why they call it hair of the dog.
Okay, I was feeling very dumb.
I don't know what that means, but yeah, it's some sort of a phrase that refers to after a night of drinking, you need a little something. And really what it is just a little tinge of that alcohol in your system's like, oh, okay, yeah, I was going through withdrawals.
Oh, is that why people have screwdrivers for breakfast?
Yeah, and stuff like that, or tequila sunrise.
Oh, I thought you said tequila sunrise. I was like, this is not supposed to be the jam session after dark right yet.
God.
Nasty
What
ass.
kind of drink would that be? I don't even want to know.
Tasty.
But yeah, there's all kinds, dude. You know what? One time we should get into a drink, like a shot discussion, where you can go to a legitimate bar and order some of these drinks. Like there's one called "Tie Me Up to the Bedpost," for instance. But I mean, I know a litany of drinks that people there. That's not a drink, but yes, it is. Like go into a bar and order it, and it is a drink.
Really?
Yes, and some of them are quite vulgar. But most bartenders you got to be at a certain level where the bartender has been around long enough to where they'd know. Like you're not going to walk into a Chili's and be like, "Hey, can I get a?" And the bartender back there's like, "Okay, all right, man."
That's got to be something like, what is it? The Dragonfly over there at Zaza, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. There's a few of them like that can do kind of those weird.
I like the way I threw that out there.
Yeah, look at you.
That's your boy.
But yeah, I don't know. I would do a spicy donut. I would try it as a thing. I don't know that I would want that kind of heat.
Now I've got a great idea. Now, it's a matter of can I execute it. When we go to Oak Islands Brewing on Friday with the jalapeno beer, I'm going to bring you the ghost pepper donut.
Oh my God. Can you imagine back to back?
You eat the donut and you wash it down with a jalapeno beer. That sounds tasty if you like spicy stuff.
Yeah, that'll be cool too, because then we can do it on the YouTube live.
Yeah, and we'll have Brian video it.
Yeah, and then everybody who's watching live will see me eat a ghost pepper donut and laugh their ass off while I'm trying to figure out how to scrape a layer of my tongue off.
I love that idea.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, fair enough. So elsewhere in the world of fast food, new menu items, by the way, that ghost pepper donut's only available until December. They're doing it as kind of like a small time thing.
I think, this is how bad I am. I think there's a Dunkin's donut near me, or a Dunkin's near me.
Yeah, there's one around here somewhere. I've passed by it.
But I've never eaten a donut from Dunkin'.
I have when I was a kid. I used to like going there because they have a bunch of different flavors of the donut holes, which I always used to love. I still like donut holes, but I haven't had. Last time I had donuts is probably a year ago.
Probably something I brought you from Momo's probably.
Yeah, I tried one of those, but Maddox. Every once in a blue moon, I'll take him to get them, and I don't ever get anything. I just he gets whatever, and I might have a bite of a donut of his or something like that. But
right.
So McDonald's is adding, speaking of donuts, they're adding new bakery items for the first time in a decade.
The apple pie and cherry pie, they got something else to go with it?
They have added the apple fritter, a cinnamon roll, and a blueberry muffin.
What's up with these donuts and stuff, man?
I don't know, man. But apparently they're losing. I mean, McDonald's has been like the fast food breakfast king for forever.
It's the Egg McMuffin, man.
Apparently Wendy's has been taking their business. What breakfast does Wendy's have?
Dude, I was like, I don't believe I've ever had breakfast.
I didn't even know. Like, reading this article was when I learned that Wendy's has breakfast.
Wendy's used to be my spot when I was a fat guy. And then...
Really? What'd you get?
Dude.
The Baconator? Isn't that there?
This is when I was a fat guy, man. Used to get a double ketchup only with some fries.
And a Frosty?
Nah, it was never a big Frosty.
No, I like the vanilla Frosty.
But,
I used to go by there and get like the chicken nuggets for $1.
No, I didn't like their nuggets. McDonald's nuggets I liked better. But
so you don't like chicken?
Yeah, I like chicken. But, hey, chicken by parts.
Whatever. But pink slime.
I think the problem was once I've probably had Wendy's 2 or 3 times in like the last decade.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I had Wendy's. It's been a while.
And but some of that is because when I left the fat guy stage, I really tried to eliminate my eating out at fast food restaurants.
Yeah, I try not to. I mean, we'll do Chick-fil-A from time to time. And then, we order pizza, for delivery every once in a while, which the next one here, Domino's added the cheeseburger pizza recently. And then Papa John's has announced that they are joining them. They will start offering a cheeseburger pizza with the signature sauce, zesty cheese, seasoned beef, and pickles. And I got to tell, we ordered the one from Domino's to try it.
How was it?
It was actually pretty good. I was like, man, this is surprisingly really good.
Should have done a review for the review for the YouTube.
Maybe I will. Maybe next time I order, I'll jump on and just YouTube live myself eating a pizza and see how much I can crack through.
2 bites.
All right. So elsewhere in the world,
hold on. Is this another restaurant?
No. We're done with this.
Oh no. Okay, we got one more restaurant to add. Because I was at a business meeting this weekend, and on the way back, I said, "Oh, I wonder if I stop by Heim."
Yes.
On Saturday afternoon, between breakfast and dinner, if I can pop in and pop out. Ha ha! I was victorious. I popped in and I popped out. And I got to tell you, man, it met the hype. Now, I got to tell you, they got a great location. I didn't realize they were like literally directly across the street from Love Field.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, they're going to print money with that location.
You can watch the planes take off.
And then the question is always, and we talked about this, does the food meet the hype? Because I told y'all there's a place near me that came and I was like, oh, this is great. And I went and I was like, this is average. And I tried it 2 more times. And I was like,
nope.
And so what was interesting is I walked in.
Place sucks.
And I literally ordered just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, because I just wanted to taste.
Yeah.
And while I was waiting for my order, one of the managers was talking to this old dude at the end of the counter. And I'm literally just sitting there listening while I'm watching Baylor in Texas. And he's talking about the cooking process and how they make sure they maintain the same standard of the 2 in Fort Worth over here. It's really fascinating discussion. And they're going back and forth. I mean, he's really, he's delivering all this information. It's just great. And finally he goes, hey, I got to get back to work, guys. Thanks. And he goes to this guy, hey, what's your name? He tells him, he asked me, what's my name? Because I've literally been there for 10 minutes just listening to him talk. Haven't said a word. And I had my mask on. It was a Buckeye mask, but I had my mask on. I go, JJT. Oh, really? Hey, I heard you and Matt on the ticket the other day.
Yeah,
I said, my man. I said, you just trying for that, now that you know who I am, you think I will give you a good review? He said, no. And then, as part of this discussion we were having, we were talking about some of the best barbecue in town, because he said, yeah, there's a lot of good barbecue down here. And he literally said, he goes, Smokey John's is down the street. They got good barbecue. I go, yeah, they do. And then he mentioned some other places. And then I said, well, I don't really like them, man. He said, okay, now that you say it, I'm not going to say I don't like them. I'm going to say that they're just okay.
In that same little area?
No.
Okay, all right.
We were talking about one of the big places that if somebody came into town and said, hey,
I know who you're talking about.
Go to barbecue, you should go there.
Yeah,
and I said, dude, I've been there 3 times, and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. It's not bad, but I
agree,
I said, I can name you 10 places better without thinking real hard.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he named another popular place. The older guy did, and I said, I don't want to be a wet blanket, but I don't like them either. And the guy said, you find it bland, don't you? I go, yeah.
Huh.
I said, I don't want any, this is just me, because everybody's got their thing. I said, I don't want any barbecue I got to put sauce on. Now, if I choose to put some sauce on it, that's fine. But if I have to put sauce on it to kind of liven it up, you ain't no good.
Yeah, the flavor of the meat and the tenderness of the meat should be what getting the juice of the actual meat. All of that into it, yeah.
And so I had the brisket. Brisket was fine. A little sample of that. Had some ribs. Ribs were good. Dude, you know their signature thing is those bacon burnt ends. I gotta tell you, Matt, that shit's the truth.
It's like eating little like squares of butter that just melt.
Oh my God.
You put them in your mouth?
Dude, I was like,
oh.
I was like, hey, brother, I gotta get up out of here, dog.
That's pretty awesome.
He tried to make me a fat guy again. Gotta go.
Did you have any sides? Did you try any of those?
They didn't have any greens.
Because
I tried the mac and cheese because I'm a mac and cheese guy.
Yeah, I like mac and cheese.
And it was good. It's some kind of green chili mac and cheese, so it had a little
hatch in it or something?
A little kick to it. Not a lot, but a little.
I like that.
So Heim Barbecue.
Good job, Heim.
Food met the hype. That don't always happen.
Nice. Well, elsewhere as we continue here in our trip around the block, I heard about this and I think I want to go. It's in Fort Worth. The Best Made Pickle Emporium is opening. It is brand new. It opened last Friday.
Is this a restaurant?
No, it's a pickle shop, like a giant ass, Best Made's local, Best Made Pickles.
Right.
And it's located near Southside over there in Fort Worth off of West Vickery Boulevard. And they're going to offer like all kinds of different things. They will sell all different types of pickles. They will sell pickled and jarred items such as pickled okra and barbecue sauce, t-shirts, all sorts of gift items and vintage type things.
Dude.
Now, the pickles that you'll be able to purchase there, sour pickles, kosher, snappy garlic, extreme hots.
How about Kool-Aid pickles? Can you get some Kool-Aid pickles over there?
I don't see that on the list. Beer pickles.
All right.
Which are made with the Salty Lady Martin House beer. Jalapeno bread and butters, jalapeno mustard relish, sweet jalapeno relish, pickled okra, which I love pickled okra, man. God, I love pickled okra.
Can I tell you something funny? This is amusing to me that you said you like pickled okra.
Why? It's so good.
I walked in the house the other day. There was a big-ass jar of pickled okra.
From Best Made?
I don't know where it's from.
That's the kind I get is Best Made pickled okra.
The lovely Lorraine had bought a big-ass jar of pickled okra. You know, my granddaughter's a pickle freak. She like y'all go into the store, can y'all pick me? And then she got like some special, I want this kind and this and this. So,
I like pickled stuff, man. Like pickled onions are awesome. Pickled jalapenos are fantastic.
Have you had pickled eggs before?
Yeah, pickled eggs.
Are those good? They sound nasty.
They're a little different, but I mean, I'll eat them.
Really?
I'll bite it. Man, anything pickled is really good.
No.
Yeah, dude. Did you eat the pickled okra?
Hell no.
I can eat an entire jar of pickled okra in one sitting. God, it's good. I love okra.
Can I tell y'all something? See, this is
it's just really slimy and weird.
Yes, it is. It's all about texture. That's why I don't like mushrooms. I don't like those slimy foods. See, this is how you can become a good gift giver if you're not on a budget. See, Matt just revealed how much he loves pickled okra.
Yeah.
I could go buy him a big ass jar of it at this place for $10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, and he would be as happy can be for $10.
I know. I mean,
it's
this
about
is great.
being thoughtful and listening to people. It makes good gift givers.
Yeah, there's something about this. So I want to check this out. I mean, it sounds just kind of like a really cool store, but everybody, I think, in DFW knows Best Made Pickles. We tried. We'll have to do a podcast with Martin House because they're a really interesting group, always doing a bunch of really creative beers. And, of course, they're the ones that came out with the spicy pickle beer and the pickle beer that was used with Best Made Pickles.
Yeah.
And now they have a Bloody Mary beer that's used with Best Made products.
Oh, my God. That probably gives your heart burn.
I mean, they do some really interesting stuff over there. But, yeah, I mean, I've got pickles in my fridge right now. Pickled okras don't last too long here because I eat them really quick.
Yeah, we should do that. See, as we go out to all these breweries around town, I find it actually very fascinating to talk to all of them about, because they're all different in terms of their approach and what they do and why they do what they do. And so it ain't like you've been to all of them. They're all kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, they're very different. And Martin House is notorious around here because they put out a new beer in cans every 2 weeks, which is unheard of.
I was going to say,
like for market, like where you can go buy it out in the market and package and stuff.
And most people do that how often?
I mean, most people will have like your 5-6 cores and then maybe a seasonal or two that they release. Nobody's pumping beers out every 2 weeks like this. Now, some of the smaller ones like False Idol, even Odd Muse, that we were at last week, they will or you can go for to go. You can pick it up at the brewery, and they do like a pilot thing. When it's gone, it's gone. These dudes, man, and not just that, they did a Dunkaroos beer. Remember that the '90s candy Dunkaroos with the cookie and the cream and all that.
Yeah,
they made a beer with Dunkaroos. I mean, they do some really interesting, different stuff.
All right, well, let's go out there.
And they're cool guys too.
I'm interested to see how they came up, why they do what they do.
Yeah, we'll have to set that up. But again, that Best Made Pickle Emporium is now open. So you can get over there. If you're in Fort Worth, you can check it out and buy all kinds of different pickles. Hey, Peter Piper picked a pick. Nope, messed it up. Damn it. I was going to try to knock it out, and everybody's like, wow, damn, that was awesome.
Peter Piper picked a pickle.
Do you know that one? Peter Piper picked a peck of pick. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
Yeah, exactly.
Now I can do woodchuck chuck really fast. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck of a woodchuck?
Yeah, me too. I just said it. It was like the Flash.
Oh my God!
I said it so fast.
He said, "Peter."
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. That was fun. Good times. But as we work our way forward here, and again, not a new sponsor. I guess new for the podcast, but they've been with us for a long time, man. And we're happy that they followed us to the podcast here. And that, of course, is our very good friends, Jason and Deidre at Beer Geek Shop in downtown Rockwall.
Dude, they were never going anywhere. They love me.
I think they love me too. I think it's equal love. Maybe they love you a little more. Who knows? But Beer Geeks, as we've told you many times, is right there off the square in downtown Rockwall in San Jacinto Plaza. They have over 400 different beers from across the world. It's a local family-owned place. And I got to tell you, man, it's one of my favorite all-time beer stores. One, because it's such a cozy local place, but two, I love that everything in there is available in singles.
Right. Who wants 5 bad beers if you just picked the wrong one?
Right. And as somebody in the craft beer world that loves to try as many different beers as I possibly can, I love the idea that I can try a bunch of stuff that I'm not sure, like, oh, this is a new one. This is a new one. Haven't had that. Or maybe like, wow, you guys got this again. I remember loving this beer. Let me get a couple of those and then let me get 4 new different, whatever. You can do whatever you want because it's all singles.
And the best thing about Beer Geeks is if you don't know, you just go like I do sometimes. Hey, Deidre, give me some coffee stouts this week. Well, what do you want? Surprise me.
And look, they know what they're doing. They try all the beers that come in. Again, it's a phenomenal place. It's in downtown Rockwall, so get out there. Let them know you heard about it on the podcast and support a local family-owned place, Beer Geek Shop in downtown Rockwall. But man, I started today. Somebody prompted me to go down the rabbit hole today. It might have been our buddy Craig on Twitter. And he had asked something about Mike Nolan. And, I thought it was interesting, and it got me starting to think, like, why Mike Nolan? Like, what is it about Mike Nolan that has all of us so irritated? Because it can't just be this 7 games, right? Like, we could be pissed, and you could look at it, and I wondered if there was more to it. So I went today, and I looked up Mike Nolan and learned a little something about Mike Nolan. And
you went by the numbers. That's a lot of writing down there, dog.
Dude, not only should Mike Nolan be fired, he shouldn't have gotten the job in the first place.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna make it rhyme. Not only should he not been fired, should he be fired? He should have never been hired.
Right. Either way, yeah. I mean, it's a perfect title for the book that should be written about this when the season is over. Why this season failed. Mike Nolan has been in the NFL for years. Right. He is a journeyman defensive coordinator.
Right.
He's the defensive coordinator that hops on teams a season here, 2 seasons there, 3 seasons there. His last stay was years ago. It was 4 seasons, is the longest he's ever been anywhere.
All right, so he's good. See, that's an indication of a guy who's good but not great.
That was 8 jobs ago.
And then it's also an indication of a guy who's built enough allegiances and friendships over the years because he's been on all these different staffs,
right,
that he can always go get a job.
But I think it's interesting because you look at it. So once he left the Giants, he did 3 seasons in Washington, a season with the Jets, 3 in Baltimore. Then he was hired as a head coach and general manager.
Wow.
He did 3.5 seasons before they fired him in San Francisco. As a head coach, he just can't cut it, which is fine. Some guys can't.
Right.
He went 18-37 in his 3.5 seasons. His best record was 7-9. He then did a season in Denver, 2 seasons in Miami, 3 seasons in Atlanta. That was when he was done being a defensive coordinator. That was 2014 was the last time he was a defensive coordinator.
Until now.
Now he did a season as a linebackers coach. Then he was unemployed for a year. And then he spent the last 2 seasons, or I guess 3 seasons, as a linebackers coach in New Orleans before getting a job once again as the defensive coordinator here in Dallas after last being a DC in 2014. So,
okay, that was a bad hire.
Oh, let me make it worse for you, if you don't mind. And since we're on a podcast, and so here was the question, I think, and I can't remember exactly what it was that Craig had posed on Twitter. It was something about, like, what did he do in his last stop? Oh, I'm glad you asked this, because I was also curious, and I wanted to know. Now, before I tell you what he did in his last stop, I want to remind everybody, Mike Nolan was the head coach that decided to pass on Aaron Rodgers. Now,
I mean, there was 20 other coaches who passed on Aaron Rodgers.
There was, but it was between him and Alex Smith. And I thought this was interesting, and I think it might say a little something about where he's at now, because I found an article from a San Jose Mercury News from the time when they passed, because Aaron Rodgers was a high prospect who's local.
Right.
You know, I mean, it made sense. Why the guy played college football at Cal, grew up in California. Why wouldn't you have the local kid come to San Francisco? It's a match made in heaven.
Right.
And apparently the reasoning behind it was that Mike Nolan thought Alex Smith was safer because he didn't like Aaron Rodgers' attitude, because Mike Nolan is kind of a no-nonsense guy, and Aaron Rodgers just rubbed him the wrong way, and he didn't think he could work with him.
That's why you don't want your coach to be your GM.
And I thought, okay, all right, so that's why. So that's one knock on him. The other knock, as I mentioned, his last defensive coordinating job in 2014. I went and looked at all these different categories. Here's the categories I looked at while he was the defensive coordinator in Atlanta for 3 seasons. This is all defensive related. Points, yards, rush yards, pass yards, sacks, takeaways, yards per play, third down percentage.
Yeah, it pretty much covers it.
The only times in any of those categories in 3 seasons that he finished in the top 19 or better, okay, was his first year in Atlanta. They finished 6th overall in points, pretty solid. They finished 5th in takeaways. They actually had 31, which is pretty badass. His last year, they finished 6th in takeaways, and that's it. Every other category that I mentioned in 3 seasons, he was 20th or worse in the NFL. And how about this?
Uh-oh.
Because I thought this was interesting.
It's a smoking gun?
Because the Dallas Cowboys right now, for those that don't know, currently, if the season ended, they would have the 4th worst all-time yards per attempt against in rush defense. They're allowing 5.18 yards per.
Wow.
But I thought this was very interesting because yards per play is Mike Nolan's specialty to give offenses whatever they want. 3 seasons in Atlanta. 2012, they allowed 6.1 yards per play, 30th in the NFL. 2013, 6.1 yards per play, 30th in the NFL. 2014, 6.1 yards per play, 32nd in the NFL. Cowboys currently allowing 6 yards per play. So 0.1 better than he ever did in Atlanta. But, I mean, you go across the board here. His last season in Atlanta, 27th in points allowed, 32nd in yards, worst defense in the NFL. 21st against the run, 32nd worst against the pass. 30th his last 2 years in sacks. 32nd in yards per play, 32nd in both of his last 2 years in third down conversion percent against. And this dude is your defensive coordinator, and you look at all these categories and how bad the Cowboys are, and I go, after doing this, it's what he did in Atlanta. Why would it be different now?
Dude, that's pretty revealing.
It's ridiculous.
He won't be here next year.
There's no way.
Because I think at the disaster that this season is going to be, you know, we said this last year too. Okay, you know, as we were coming into it, we're like, at some point, if you're not going to fire Garrett, somebody's going to pay the price. So if you're not going to fire McCarthy, and I really, unless they go 2-14, I really don't think they're firing McCarthy, because you can. Here's why. Number one, they don't want to, because that means you made a mistake. He has enough excuses, you know, injuries, COVID, all these things. He can say, it's not my fault. But and Jerry and Stephen Jones could look at that and go, you know what? You make some good points, but somebody got to pay the price. And so if it's not going to be you, and we don't want it to be you, then bring me the head of Nolan.
And that's the one thing that when I looked at this, and then I thought, well, you know what? Look, maybe there is something to the injuries. Maybe there is something to where, and I will say, I think this is a knock on them too, of not understanding you don't have the personnel to run the defense you're trying to run.
Dude.
And you don't have any preparation whatsoever of an offseason to try and install this. And then I looked at these numbers from Atlanta. I'm like, it wouldn't have mattered. Even if you had time, your defenses in Atlanta were horseshit.
All of that is asinine. Trying to install. I mean, that's why I've been banging it for forever now, because trying to install this new complicated scheme, switch the person. I mean, it's just, this is not a year you could do it. And, you know, I'm disappointed because Mike McCarthy told us at his first press conference, basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, that we fit players to scheme. We don't fit scheme to player, meaning we're not just going to throw a scheme out there.
Which apparently it was a lie.
Yeah, apparently. Or maybe that doesn't apply to offense only, doesn't apply to defense, only to offense. And so to me, that's the most disappointing thing. And now, you know, the problem is because that's his boy, because he said it again today or yesterday. I've not even crossed my mind to change him. It should have. Now, it should have crossed your mind. And you said, nah, it's my boy. I'm loyal to him. I've seen this defense work before. So no, but to say it ain't crossed your mind, you tripping, dog. It should have crossed your mind, even if it's your boy. I mean, even people who are happily married go through periods where they're a little frustrated, and it crosses their mind. I wonder if it's, you know, and then you go, nah, you know, she's, you know, I'm just mad about this. She's 99% perfect,
right?
So, but it crossed your mind for just a fleeting second. So that's either dumb or dishonest. Y'all can choose which one.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting, too, because, again, while he was in Atlanta, yes, 2 years, he had one of the top 6 defenses in takeaways, which they're not getting here, which, as we've talked about many times, a lot of that is our belief that they just don't have guys to take the ball away, that it's not the scheme. Reality of it is, this whole thing about getting sacks, he was in the bottom 4 in the league all 3 years he was the DC in Atlanta. And I think you have to take a look at this, especially if you're McCarthy, and the Joneses know this. You wanted to build your staff with guys that you're comfortable with. Cool. Mike Nolan's your guy. You've been around him before. He hired you in San Francisco, whatever. There's a reason why that dude hadn't been in control of a defense in 5 seasons.
Oh, I think so, man. I mean, when you pull that off, that's a long time to go without having some power, man. And then for your boy to give you that hire, give you that job, give you that responsibility. I mean, hell, you could have made him linebackers coach. No problem with that.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know if it was one of those things where they'd been around each other so many times that it became, hey, man, when I get another shot, I think you're ready, man. I think you can still do it. And Mike said, hey, give me a shot. I know I can. But they can't look at this defense. If they're as close as supposedly they are, don't you sit there and go, look, man, it's not working.
Yeah, see, my whole thing was Jim Haslett was the guy with him up in the Green Bay in the barn.
Yeah, that's who we all thought he was going to bring with him.
Right. So I'm interested to see why that never materialized, because that to me, I mean, I don't know if he'd have been any better, but hell, it'd have made more sense to me. But I can't sit here and say that I did a deep dive on Nolan when it happened, because we were in the midst of a pandemic. So I can't sit here and tell you I did a deep dive on Nolan then. But yeah, man, all that stuff you just brought up, it's amazing he got hired.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I thought, maybe you had some defense that was just dominant. And I'll give you, okay, you had all these bad numbers, but you were 6th in points against your first year there. That's something. But then in your final year, when you're bottom 5 across the board, yeah, and all you did, and you're a journeyman, again, you're a journeyman defensive coordinator, and all you did in Atlanta was regress as a defense. And you hadn't been really in control of anything in 5 years, and it seemed like it was supposed to work here. It makes no sense to me. You're going to have to get rid of the guy. I mean, you just have to get rid of the guy. And sometimes that's okay because he knows it's not working.
Players know it's not working. No, it's not working for anybody. Somebody got to pay the price for this raggedy Rudy Pooch season, man. My suspicion is it's going to be Mike Nolan.
Yeah, and I don't know if the answer... I think that you just go ahead and get rid of him now, and who knows if it makes you any better. I don't know if it matters at this point. Maybe you just wait until the end of the season but the players have already given up on him. The disconnect is there. I think it's blatantly obvious, and hopefully I gave all of you out there some ammunition when you're having your fights with your friends. You can go, yeah? Well, how about this about Mike Nolan? And you can shut them down. Hashtag fire Mike Nolan.
Yeah, done properly.
We're here recording this podcast, and it's funny because we didn't think we were going to do this evening. But Jacques was supposed to go on a trip to Jackson, Mississippi this week. And the weirdest thing, well, I'll let you tell the story. You describe it because you called me, and I thought we were going to be connecting later this evening on a computer, and you're going to be in your hotel room, and we were going to do all this remotely. And you called and said, well, I'm driving back. I was like, what? You literally left this morning.
Yeah, man. I was going to work on a piece for the Undefeated on Jackson State. And so me and, the Brian Hart, the podcast director of creative content, who's from Jackson and who insisted he show me around Jackson.
Yeah, because he went to Jackson State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He run. I mean, it's in his blood. That's his version of Texas or Alabama or Ohio State or whatever. So we're riding, man, and we left a little bit later than I wanted to. Some things went awry this morning with my car, so I had to get it fixed. But it's good. We're on the road. We're talking. We're fighting. We've just gone past Shreveport. We're making good time, and we're 30 miles outside of Monroe. And now I gotta tell you, it's my fault. The beginning of it was anyway. I went zooming past in the fast lane, and as soon as I pass him, I go, "Damn, I think that's a cop in an SUV."
Oh, he was driving on the road with you.
No, he was sitting on the side of the road.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
And I was talking to Brian, and so I wasn't paying attention to the road, but I was going 85, 84.
Yeah.
In what I thought was 75. But it was really 70. But that's okay, because I pass him, I go, damn, I think I'm about to get a ticket. So I get over to the slow lane, and I see him pull out. But I says, well, it's no flashers yet. Maybe I'm mistaken. And he's just driving for a minute, and then I see him zoom past somebody, get over, here come the flashers. The flashers are on probably 3 seconds before I'm over in the lane.
Yeah, because you already knew.
I already know. So,
Yeah.
Now, remind y'all, I once talked myself out of 7 consecutive tickets.
And
that's not exaggeration. I literally did it because I have a routine that I do. First part is instantly get over. Second part is have your license.
Yeah, get everything ready.
So out the window when they walk, all they got to do is pick it out your hand.
Yep.
All right, so but this is weird. So I'm looking at my driver's side for him, and I don't see him. I'm like, where'd he go? He's on the passenger side. He knocks on the window. Oh, yeah,
because of the highway, right. Probably. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, here's my license. He's like, where's your insurance? I go, hey, I'm trying to call it up on my phone on this app. I got USAA, so I got good insurance.
Yeah.
And then he says, where's your registration? And I look at him and go, I'm sorry? He goes, where's your registration for the car? I go, you talking about my insurance and my license? Because remember, in Texas, we don't carry registration. You get stickers.
Yeah, it's on the license plate. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm very confused because I'm like, when have I ever been stopped? Only in Texas, and nobody asks for your registration because they go look at the sticker. And then he looks, he goes, oh, it must be that over there. So he sees the sticker.
Yeah.
And he goes over and he takes his cell phone and takes a picture of it. Okay, let me tell y'all something. When you're black, now I don't know how white people think because I ain't white. When you're black.
No, you're not.
You know that, especially if you grow up in Texas, where if you haven't paid tickets, they will take your ass to jail.
Yeah.
I've had friends who've gone to jail. They're not criminals. They just didn't take care of their business. They got stopped. You got to go. I ain't never wanted to go to jail. I saw that happen to my mom when I was about 10 years old. Same thing. She hadn't paid a ticket. Very nice officer. He was like, I'll wait here with you while you call somebody to come get your kids.
Damn, dude.
And when she called the neighbor came. They took us. She went down. She sat there for, 4 or 5 hours till she paid her ticket, came on back home. I ain't never wanted to do that. So I know I keep my stuff clean. As clean as my colon when I had that colonoscopy a couple of weeks ago. It's clean. So I ain't worried about you got some tickets, you got some warrant. I ain't worried about nothing. I'm chilling, really. Give me this ticket so I can get on about my business. So I'm talking to Brian. I'm like, it's taking him way too long to write out a speeding ticket, dog. So then he comes back up. Okay, step out of the car and talk to me for a second. And in my mind, I'm like,
like, what's going on?
Yeah, what the hell? So I go back there, and this is what he says to me. He looks at my tags. He says, those tags are registered to a Cadillac. I go, yeah, they might be because I've got 3 sets. I said, I've got 5 cars. Now, before y'all start thinking, they're all paid for, okay? I like to keep them once I pay for them. So I got 5 cars.
Yeah.
And I got 3 sets of personalized tags. And I switched the tags on this car. Why'd you switch the tags? I said, those are my mother's initials. DMT, Doris Merritt Taylor.
Yeah.
I drive this car much more than I drive my Cadillac, so I switched the tags. It's not a problem, and I know this because I asked the people at the tollway, can I switch my tags? And when I registered my car in August, because I registered it in August, like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, because the lady there said, hey, which tags are you putting on which car? I said, I'm putting these now on my Honda. Okay, fine, cool, no problem. So I'm talking to him, man, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. The tags are registered to me. It's not like somebody else. They're registered to me. So,
yeah,
and he looks at me and goes, okay, and he leaves. And at that point, I didn't realize your boy called backup.
Oh, see, that's not good then.
So he called backup because this other guy showed up. I'm like, who are you? And he looks at me and he goes, hey, who's that in the car with you? Just like that. I go,
oh no. Plus, this is again, I don't know if people picked up, you're 30 miles outside Monroe, which for those that don't know is basically ass crack backwoods Louisiana.
Yeah. And so I go, oh, that's Brian Hart. He works with me. He goes, oh, okay. This time he comes back and now he's trying to kill me with kindness while he's screwing me. He goes, hey, I'm going to give you this ticket for speeding. Can I tell y'all something? I was speeding. Got no problem with that.
Right.
Give me the ticket. Let me keep moving. He goes, and here's where I go, you a racist piece of shit now. Because here's what he goes. He goes, first it was the tags weren't registered to me. We're registered to another car.
Right.
Now it's, the car's not registered to you. And I looked at him, I go, what are you talking about? The car's not registered to you. And I go, I literally said, what do you mean it's not registered to me? He goes, it's not coming back in your name. He said, when'd you buy it? Or who'd you buy it from? I said, I bought it from a dealer 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I said, dude, I just paid it off. $3,200 last week. It's not even registered. Like sometimes if you're married, the car's registered in both people's names. No, this loan is in my name. This car is in my name. He goes, well, it's not coming back registered to you. So I looked at him and go, well, who's it coming back registered to? Well, I don't know. Okay, motherfucker. Oops.
That's real right there.
You just got off the phone or off the computer with whoever is, if it's not registered to me, who's it registered to? So that's when I know you fucking with me. So at that point, you in backward ass crack Louisiana, 2 white cops fucking with you. Okay, cool. I'm not finna play your game, dog. Okay, fine, man. It's not registered to me. Well, sir, I'm gonna have to take your tags.
See, when you told me that, I was like, I've never heard of this before.
So I looked at him, I said, take my tags. He goes, well, you switch the tags. The car's not registered to you. I go, you're gonna take the tags off the car? He goes, yes, sir. I go, well, how many times am I gonna get stopped on the way back if I'm driving with no tags on the car? Well, you shouldn't have switched the tags. And that's when I just said in my mind, you so full of shit, dog. And
because you know what? Because if somebody is listening that knows this, like a lawyer or whatever, that understands this, we'd love to know. So hit us up on Twitter when you listen to this, or shoot us a message or an email or whatever at McMattRadio, at JJT_journalist, or email us at jamsessioncast@gmail.com. Because what doesn't make sense is those tags are yours. He told you basically those tags were yours because you could tell him the car that they were supposed to were on or whatever, right. And he could confirm that. So if the car isn't registered to you, then he took the license plates off your car and let you drive away in a stolen car.
That's what I'm getting at.
Which makes no sense.
Because if you're not fucking with me, then you go, the tags don't match, I'm going to impound the car and arrest you because...
Right, yes, because you're driving a stolen car.
Right.
Right.
So it's either one or the other. It's not, I'm going to take your tags and now you can go on about your business. That's some bullshit right there. In that situation, man, I'm not trying to end up in a swamp and on the face of Time magazine.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, for real. Especially since he called another guy to come out.
Yeah.
Because now they're waiting for something to happen.
Right. And so at that point, I just go, I
mean, what are you supposed to do? I don't know.
Nothing. You're supposed to call Matt and say, I was headed to Mississippi.
Man.
I said, but I'm not finna drive. Because I was telling Brian, he's like, well, we're only a couple. I said, dude, I'm not finna drive the rest of Louisiana in Mississippi with no tags on my car.
Yeah, because then you already had to turn around and come back from halfway through Louisiana with no tags.
Right.
Which I can't believe you didn't get pulled over.
Dude, the blessing is I didn't get pulled over.
I mean, that's incredible.
Because I was 236 miles away from my house.
Yeah.
So I drove the 236 back with no incident.
He just took your license plates and kept them.
Yeah. And so...
See, I don't get that. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
The tags match the sticker on the registration. And so you're just like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I don't get this at all. And again, like I said, I mean, honestly, if somebody can make light of this, or because I can't comprehend it. And I can tell you because years ago when I lived in Gainesville, Florida, I was in a situation where I had a cop that I felt like was kind of messing with me a little bit. You know, I was a white guy and I'm a white guy, but it still was a situation where, and I knew that my registration was expired, but I had moved from Texas to Florida, so I just never got new plates. I never got Florida plates because, I'll be honest, I was banking, when I moved to Florida, I found out, and Alabama's like this too, to get plates in some of the other states, like in Alabama to register my car there cost me like $800 and something.
Yeah, it's an act of God.
Yeah,
I ain't paying you $800.
When I found out in Florida it was some ridiculous cost, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that. And I was like, I mean, what are the chances that police in Florida even know what to look for that my tag's expired? Right? So I figured I could get away with it long enough. Like, well, hey, I just moved here and yeah, my tag's expired, but I go back to Texas all the time. So my parents are registered. I came up with some fake story. Anyway, I get pulled over one day in Gainesville and he pulls me over and he comes up and he makes me get out of the car. He's like, step out of the car. I'm like, is everything okay? He goes, you're driving a stolen vehicle. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, that tag right there, you're expired. This car is not operable.
Okay, come on, man.
No, this is for real. And so I go, what do you mean? And something about if your registration is expired, then that means that the last person and I was like, well, I'm on the title. And he goes, yes, but it's expired, so it's no longer yours. It's an inoperable vehicle, and so you cannot move it. Once you move it, you're driving like an illegal piece of, I forget how he described it. And so I just look at him and go, well, what am I supposed to do? And he goes, well, you're going to have to call somebody to pick you up because if you move from this spot, I'm going to arrest you. And I look, and the guy was serious. And this is what blows my mind. I'm like, okay, you want to do all that. So I'm like, whatever. So I get back in my car. He gives me a ticket. And I'm figuring, he's going to wait for like 5 minutes and I'll just drive home. It was an hour. That dude sat right behind me in a parking lot for an hour. And I got to a point because I was with somebody else living in Florida. I was dating somebody. And I was texting her and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like because I was too far to walk home.
Right.
And I was like, what time will you be off work? Seriously, because I was like, I think you're going to have to come get me. This guy will not leave me alone. Yeah. And finally, I guess he got a call or something. And I saw him put on his lights. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. And he pulled off. And as soon as I saw him out of the way, man, I floored it home, dude. I get home. And so the next day, I went and registered my car in Florida. And I kid you not, I went to work. The next day, that cop is sitting at the same freaking spot that I had to drive past. And he sees me drive by and he just points at me. And I'm like, what are you, a narc? You're a mercenary? Who does that? Dude. I was like, this is my car, man. Like, I'm just trying to go to work. I tried to explain everything to him, and he's like, if you move, I'm going to arrest you.
Hey, man. Some of those cats trip on that power, man. But, this happens I got home and I had a long talk with my son about this because I was trying to tell him. I said, "See, dog, minor traffic thing, speeding. Everybody in the world who's ever driven a car gets popped for speeding." I said, and this dude tried to escalate it. I said, but I didn't give him any opportunity to. And I go, that's what you got to do because you're gonna get stopped at some point.
Yeah,
happens to black men all the time. Today, my number got punched. But that's the first time I've had to deal with that in a long time. So I've been lucky because, I got friends of mine who could tell you stories that's happened to them 10 different times.
All the time, man.
Rashid's got a lot of stories.
Oh, yeah, he does.
That hadn't happened to me
He's got, man, some of his
forever. And so, that's what I said. Your number can get punched at any day, and it's all about how you react in the moment. Whether it's I'm on a podcast telling y'all this story, or, I got to go get some bail money or whatever.
Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, dude.
Yeah. God. But I got something for him.
Well, I hope so. Well, I'm glad you made it, man. Glad you're here. I can tell you what's not all right, though, as we're here with you, Jacques Taylor, Matt McLaren. And again, as we mentioned, you can find us on our Twitters at McMattRadio, at JJT_journalist. This Cowboys run defense is not all right.
Dude.
It's bad, man. I mean, it's beyond bad. It's disgustingly horrid.
Yeah, now I think I need to look this up. Seems like to me they gave up 3 200-yard rushers one year, either 2000, 2001, something like that. One of those years of 5-11 under Campo.
Yeah.
It's the only run defense I remember being remotely this bad.
But this one is really, really bad. I mentioned this earlier, but right now, as it stands, they are allowing the 4th worst all-time yards per attempt.
All time.
Like since the merger. And so that's 5.18 yards per attempt. The 3 worst, oddly enough, Houston this year is also worse than the Cowboys.
So the state of Texas can't play no damn run defense.
And then the worst of all time was Chicago in 2013 that allowed 5.35 yards per attempt.
My God.
So, but the Cowboys are 5.18, right behind them. And I'll tell you, because it's weird, because when you look up rush yards allowed, you have to take into consideration that really, especially throughout the vast history of football until recent years, teams ran way more than they do now.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of run defenses in the 70s and 80s especially that gave up a ton of running yards, but hardly any passing yards. And then as time goes by, most defenses these days aren't giving up a lot of rush yards.
Right.
That being said, as we know, Cowboys right now are allowing 178.3 yards per game on the ground. That is the worst since the New England Patriots in 1981.
Wow.
When they gave up 185 yards, but only 4.5 per attempt because everybody was running a ton. But think about that. I mean, just out of that scope, since 1980, right now, the Cowboys would be second worst behind the New England Patriots for most rush yards allowed per game.
Well, I did a quick look, man. I think that year I was talking about was 2000 because they finished 31st in the league, giving up 164.8 per game and 4.9. Those are both 31st in the league.
And that's still obviously not any good. And that's where I think you look at this run defense, and there are some things when you go back and you watch the coaches' film, and look, NFL Game Pass, I think, is a great tool for those of you that are interested in seeing it from a different view, and you really get an opportunity. It's the all 22, where you see all 22 guys on the field from above, and you can see it. Like, for instance, on the one play in the second quarter where Gibson ran up the middle for, I think it was just like a 12, 15-yard touchdown, whatever it was.
Right.
Jalen Smith on that play. Now, when you're looking at it from the air, it shows it from the Cowboys' side of the field.
Right.
Okay, so they ran left, but from watching it that way, the runner goes to the right. Jalen Smith at the snap runs to the left. And then as the guy's coming through the hole, realizes, oh, he ran that way. And by that time, it doesn't matter. It's too late. And Donovan Wilson, it's like, what are you looking at? You watch that play,
You go, what the hell?
And you're either looking at two guys that don't understand football, don't understand the play concept, are so confused by the defense, both of them are looking at the complete wrong thing.
You've heard a bunch of announcers this year talking about the Cowboys' defensive eyes are not right. They're not seeing what they, Romo's harped on it quite a bit a few weeks ago. Daryl Johnson talked about it some. It's like they're not seeing anything remotely close to what they should be seeing.
Which is really weird because, yes, this defense wasn't that good last year. But we didn't think they were going to be historically bad this season. They are way worse than I thought. It's like Mike Nolan came in here and has them so confused about what he's trying to get them to understand that they are doing nothing right.
No, I think that's true.
Because they're not doing what he wants them to do, and they're sure as hell not doing whatever they did last year. And all that it's turned into is a bunch of dudes running around wondering where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be looking at.
They literally, it appears to be they literally have no clue what they're supposed to do on a consistent basis.
I'm telling you, man, go back and look at that play. It's like the Anthony Brown play from last week against Kyler Murray, where Anthony Brown is just frozen in place, and by the time he looks where he's supposed to, it's too late. And we are seeing this time and time again. Leighton Vander Esch, or maybe it was Donovan Wilson on the wide open catch. It's the same thing.
Do y'all really realize, like, against Arizona, think about it, man. They gave up 3 plays of more than 60 yards. Like, nobody does. This is not college football where that happens. This is the NFL. Yeah. They gave up 3 in one game of more than 60 yards. And then they followed it up yesterday by giving up a 40-yard run on the first series and a 52-yard pass play on the third or fourth series and a couple of 20-yard plays to Logan Thomas in between. Dude, you can't play like that.
Yeah, in the pass play, the 52-yarder to McLaurin was weird because, Trayvon Diggs, he's a rookie. I think he's been average, I guess, this year. But that's another one of those things where he's frozen. Like, he is sitting there, and it's like he recognizes so late what's happening.
Right.
That's why he reaches to grab, because it's literally an oh shit moment. As he sees McLaurin is about to run by him, it's like his head snaps. He goes, oh shit, they're going to come here. And so he reaches out to grab the dude, and McLaurin just runs through his arms and is wide open.
Well, that's what prompted Darren Woodson to write, do your job, stop peeking in the backfield.
But they're all doing it. That's the problem. And I don't know what it is that Mike Nolan has come in here and gotten in their heads that they're supposed to be looking at, or whatever key that he is trying to get them to understand. But it's because it's not just one guy. Again, it's all the linebackers. It's multiple times again. It's the entire secondary almost in every play.
It's the damnedest thing you've ever seen.
Dude, and I am telling you, when you go watching all 22 and you see the offense is making plays and the defense runs the wrong side of the field or sits there and waits, and you're sitting there going, it's right there.
Just look, dog. And I told you I saw a play with Leighton yesterday, and it was only a short game. But like he took 2 full steps to the left, and the play was to the right in, and I'm just like, you never saw the ball, bro.
And it's almost on every single play, and that's why this defense is so bad. That's why they're giving up gobs of yardage. They are on pace to shatter the NFL record for points given up in a single season. They're going to smash the franchise record. That's almost a virtual guarantee. And you think about how bad some of these Cowboys teams have been throughout the course of time at points of history.
You got to laugh to stop from crying, man.
I mean, my God, they're just that bad. And I don't know it gets any better. And that's the one thing. Stephen Jones said today when he was on the radio, basically, I thought this was crazy. You're going to watch a team evolve over time. We deserve criticism, but I do think this will evolve. I think we're going in the right direction. And then you go back and you watch the all 22 from yesterday. It's like, what the fuck are you looking at that something's evolved?
I went in and looked it up for you, man. See, they've been getting gashed this year. But in that 2000 season, dog, Deuce Staley, remember him?
Yeah, I remember Deuce.
He hit him for 201.
The Deuces lose.
Charlie Garner, remember him?
Yeah, of course, with the Eagles.
He hit him for 201 with San Francisco.
Okay.
Warwick Dunn, remember him?
Yeah, Warwick Dunn for sure.
He hit him for 210 with Tampa Bay. Jamal Lewis only got 187.
Got close.
God. I believe they're the only team to give up 3 200-yard rushers in the same season. And listen to this. Even that run defense wasn't this bad.
No, they weren't. And it's not getting better. Now, before we wrap things up here, a quick peep show for you, because we like to talk about shows and movies, and several of you have been giving us suggestions. Always love hearing about what you guys are watching. And I got to share this with you, because I told Jacques, I was like, I watched a movie yesterday night that is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I was blown away, mesmerized.
Wow.
And I didn't know this story very well. You might, one, because you're a journalist, and two, because you're a little older than me. It's on Netflix. It's called The Trial of the Chicago 7.
I've heard of that. It's interesting you say that, because a friend of mine was watching it the other day, and he was like, because he's a movie guy too, and he was like, it was good, but it was a little too slow. I had to let it go.
Man, I have to completely disagree. It's an Aaron Sorkin film. He wrote and directed it. For those that may remember that name, he wrote like The West Wing. He was the writer behind that. He's very wordy.
So this is his wheelhouse.
And oh my God, I've always loved his dialects. He wrote A Few Good Men, that movie with Tom Cruise and those guys. So he's very good at this. And this is an ensemble cast that, like, Sacha Baron Cohen is in it and plays Abby Hoffman, who was one of the Chicago 7. And then Eddie Redmayne is in it, who won an Oscar a couple years ago for playing Stephen Hawking in a movie. He plays Tom Hayden, who is another one of the guys. And I didn't know the story. I've heard of the people a little bit, but I didn't know the story. Basically, the U.S. government wanted to make an example of the riots that were around the Democratic Convention in Chicago in 1968, and basically said, hey, arrest these guys. I was trying to research, and I want to read a book about it now, because I'm curious, like, how much of this was actually true. I'm imagining the court scenes, that those would be documented.
Right, you probably took the transcripts.
So I got to think it's pretty. And oh my God, the judge in this case, I can't believe that he was so racist and so hateful and hated anything with young people and hippies, and it was, I couldn't believe it,
dude.
But it is so well written and so well acted. I'm telling you right now, it's going to win some award. It'll be nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture. And it'll get a couple of acting nominations. It'll be nominated for Best Screenplay. It is riveting.
Now, I've been watching something that I never thought I would watch. Because it's this show called Good Morning Veronica. It's on Netflix.
Good Morning Veronica. That was my grandma's name.
The one who had her breast showing.
Yes, Veronica. Yeah.
Nick. Oh, now I can never think of Veronica in the same. But Veronica is a cop. The story revolves around her trying to crack this case of this psychopathic. Oh, here's why I normally wouldn't watch it. It's set in like Mexico, and it's got the overlays on it where they're speaking in English.
Okay, yeah.
And normally I just can't rock. I can't rock with that. But they did this one so good that the lips and the words move at the same time, so I can't really tell.
Is it dubbed over? So it's just dubbed over, and you don't have to read the captions.
Right.
Wow. Huh.
And so this psychopathic policeman is beating his wife, and he's a serial killer. And so she's connected with the wife, and she's trying to find some evidence that he's a serial killer, while all the time the wife is in jeopardy, because if he finds out that, matter of fact, it got so tense a couple times, I was just like, I can't deal with this. I almost cussed again. I was like, I can't deal with this shit right now. I got to watch something a little lighter, because
I mean, wow.
Even though I'm like, it's a show, so she'll probably get away. I thought somebody was getting away the other day. He shot her right in the chest with a 12-gauge shotgun. And again, this is like some big police dude. He's almost like the head of SWAT. Like, he got juice in the police department, and so he ain't somebody you could just go get a search warrant and search their house and stuff. So it's an episodic show. So this is like, 8 or 10 episodes of it. And it's Good Morning Veronica, and she's kind of a hot MILF. And so,
well, that's good. You hate to have an ugly one.
When you put all of that together,
awesome.
It fulfills my criteria for just be entertaining. I mean, sometimes I like a real good dramatic thing, and sometimes can I just be entertained?
Yeah, I mean that's it. It sounds. I mean, serial killer shows. I always think about Dexter.
Right.
Which I don't know if you saw this, but Showtime is bringing Dexter back for a limited 10-part series.
Do we think it's going to be good or it's going to be hokey?
Well, hopefully they just... I'm glad they're doing it because season 8, the finale season, was so bad.
I thought everything after Lithgow seemed stupid to me.
See, I was cool with Steven. Like, they should have just ended it at season 7 and just left it up to your imagination.
When they had the British chick.
No, she was earlier. Remember Lila? Because she was, God, I hated her. I was hoping he'd kill her on, like, just episode 2 of that season. She's like, Dexter, come to bed, love. Don't you want to come here and light things on fire? I was like, God, stab her in the face. But yeah, apparently Dexter's coming back, so that might be cool. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm down with Dexter.
I think that they realized that, oh my God, we had a really, really good series, and we screwed up the ending so bad that people talk shit about it all the time.
Dude,
we should fix it.
The season ender where Rita gets killed in the bathtub.
That was rough, dude.
That was one of the all-timers. Like, I never saw that coming.
I didn't either, no.
And I was like, oh, snap. Wow.
It was really good for several seasons, and God, they just ruined it. And his sister, who cussed like crazy.
Dude.
I mean, every other word out of her mouth was the F word, like nonstop. It was almost, I mean, you talk about gratuitous cussing. I was like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, they were married in real life for a while. And it was his sister on the show.
I don't know how you could do it after that.
I know, but you were like they met on the show, brother and sister characters get married. It's like, I don't know about this. You guys go to taboo.com, I bet.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening to the Jam Session Podcast. Find us on Instagram at Jam Session Cast. Don't forget about our YouTube channel. Subscribe today by searching Jam Session Podcast. And keep in mind, we'll be out at Oak Highlands Brewery on Friday at 4 o'clock doing a YouTube Live. So make sure you're subscribed so that'll pop up and you can watch. And of course on Twitter at McMattRadio, at JJT_journalist. Director of Creative Content is Brian Hart. Thanks to Purple Elephant Music for the music you hear at the end and beginning of each episode. He's the radio and TV star, the sexy Jean-Jacques Taylor. I'm just a guy, Matt McLaren. Please remember, if you'll subscribe, rate, and review to this episode, that helps quite a bit. We'll catch you next time on the Jam Session Podcast, available everywhere you listen to podcasts.